Recording off of my thing. All right. Hello, Ms. Gordon. How are you? Thank you for
Hi,
agreeing to meet with me for this pre-planning conference. And most of all, that you're open to feedback.
hi, Miss Brighton. Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to this um, activity, and I look forward to learning from you.
All right, great. All right, so how has your experience, your teaching experience been so far?
Well, so far the teaching experience has been generally a learning process. So I would have started back in October of 2020, and coming into the classroom, into the virtual space is not something that you would expect throughout your 4 years in college, but that is what we were thrown into. And so we're learning as we go, we're learning how to operate, we're learning how to make it work. And so in general, it really has been a learning process.
All right. Thank you for the honest um, experience. All right, so I'm meeting with you today, Ms. Gordon, to talk about the supervisory process. And I want to tell you how this works. So it has three stages: the pre-conference that we are doing now. The next stage is observation, where I'll be visiting your classroom to see just how you engage the students. And the final stage is a post-conference. And in that um, stage, I will allow you to just reflect on your instruction, as a teacher. And we will, implement ways in which we can improve instructional strategies if needs be. So, Ms. Gordon, this process is really just to allow you to grow as a teacher, to develop your skills, that will add to your professional development. So I'm happy that we'll be working together towards this goal. So feel free, feel comfortable to talk about your experiences, and most of all, add your expertise.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss. I'm looking forward to building my skill set from it and to learning from you as a supervisor.
All right, awesome. So glad to hear that. All right, so I've mentioned before I'm planning to visit one of your classroom sessions just to observe. What do you think is an appropriate time for me to visit, and which class is most preferred for you?
All right. So I'm thinking that the most appropriate time would be on Thursday, which is May 13. I have a grade 7 class. The group is grade 7-7, and I meet with them at 12:20, I believe.
All right, good. All right, so definitely I'll be able to make that appointment. All right, I would like to also the opportunity to record the lesson for the purpose of field notes and data collection on my part. What do you think about that arrangement?
Absolutely, no problem with that.
All right, awesome. All right, Miss Gordon, I also have a checklist with us here that I would just like us to go through together. So these are some of the things that I'll be looking for. It's just designed to see how much you're growing, how you're developing as a teacher. And these things I believe are important or fundamental aspects of teaching. So I'm just gonna look at your instructional plan, how you organize the lesson and how the objectives were brought across. I'm looking at your knowledge of content, time management and how you engage the students, and the type of activities that you implement. All right. Are there any concerns or questions with these criteria?
No, I do understand them.
All right. Awesome. All right. So I'm looking at your lesson plan here that you have sent to me prior, and I see where you will be doing onomatopoeia for your lesson. How do you feel about this lesson that you're gonna teach?
I believe that the lesson is engaging. I believe that the planning process the work was put into the planning process. However, as with every other lesson, I believe that learning is a two-way process. And so while I may plan as the facilitator, it it also depends on the student to make it work. And so I'm looking forward to that. But once we have completed the lesson, we should be able to give a better feedback based on whether or not the objectives are met.
All right, awesome. So you're saying within this learning process, it also depends on the student to contribute to teaching and learning.
It does.
All right. Can you expound on that a little bit more as to how, students, you believe students contribute to the teaching and learning process?
All right, so gone were the days when the teacher would play the main role in the classroom. Gone were the days when students would just sit and take notes and grasp content. No, we're moving from that to a more cooperative learning classroom environment where we're asking students to be more engaged in your own learning. And so, with that in mind, I believe that in order to make these work, or especially with the 5 key lesson plan, so in order to make it work and meet all the objectives, then our students need to play an active role in the learning process.
All right. All right. So you're saying it takes collaboration
It
to
takes
make it.
collaboration.
All right,
Right.
good. So what's your classroom environment like? And what are some of the things that I can look out for in this lesson, this upcoming lesson?
All right, this particular class, well, general classroom environment is, as I said, one of my um, goal in the classroom is just to operate as a facilitator. And so you will find that the floor is always open to questions, to suggestions, to feedback. Your students are able to give their opinion and rationalize those opinions, and the teacher will provide her feedback where necessary. You will also find that you have some students who are more vocal than others. So we may have to be pulling on those students sitting in the back, the virtual back seat. But overall, it is a warm and welcoming class.
All right. Okay. All right, good answers coming there. It sounds great. I'm looking forward to that experience in your classroom. Sounds exciting. So I'm looking forward to being a part of that. All right, but as you mentioned, Miss Gordon, about, some students not being so vocal, you know, um, seeing that we're within this online platform, do you say that it's kind of easier then for the teacher to engage those students who are more, participate more, to pay them more attention?
Absolutely. It is much easier to engage students who participate more. I enjoy my chatterboxes, and I call them my chatterboxes because they're always talking and I feel good to know that they're there. But we have to keep in mind that they're not the only ones in the class, and so we have to try to reach the others, but it is definitely easier to engage those students.
All right. And I'm glad for that honest and open feedback because, we have seen where that's evident. All right. But my important question that I'll be working with you as well. How do you plan to change this dynamic?
One of the things is it is much easier to change this in the physical classroom. In the virtual classroom, where persons are able to hide behind their mics and hide behind their cameras, it is a bit more difficult. But in my classroom, I tend to pick on people, and I know that is normally used negatively, but for me, it has been working wonders because I, in my Google Meet, I usually keep the participant section open. And so I am able to see all the persons in the meet. And what I do is while there are times when I ask for volunteers, there are also times when I pick on the persons who I believe I'm not hearing from. There are times when I use positive reinforcement. There are times when I try to be as casual to make them feel a little bit more comfortable while still maintaining a level of professionalism. And so I've been trying different things, but I'm open to suggestions and recommendations as to how to solve that problem.
All right, awesome. And I'm glad you mentioned that you're open for feedback because that's what I'm here for. I'll be working with you. And you mentioned positive reinforcement, such as praise and rewards. That's something that I would recommend. Let us look at explore peer grouping. When you pair persons together, it may allow another person who is not so vocal or probably a little shy to open up a little bit more. Think about activities that they can relate to. There are some songs that are current that they will relate to that we can find, that they will, find interest in, and so on and so forth. So what we're gonna do, since we find that this is something that needs a little fixing, we're gonna observe that pattern in the classroom in the next class just to see, how best we can um find a better way to engage them within this online platform. What do you think about that? How does that sound?
I am open to that. I love that idea. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, awesome. All right, so remember, Ms. Gordon, that the conference is designed to help you to grow as a teacher. So feel free to share. Do you have any concerns or needs in general about teaching, the teaching professional in general?
Concerns. If I should state a concern, it would be that uh, I believe that teachers, while it is that we play such an active role in the teaching and learning process, I believe that all stakeholders are responsible or should be held accountable for the part that they should play. And so I think students should learn to show up and be present and to submit on time and to participate willingly because that's their job. I think parents need to be more involved. They're able to reach their students, especially in the virtual space. They're able to reach their children probably a little bit better than the teachers would in some cases. So I think that everyone needs to play their part. Another thing I believe is that the workload can be pressuring. It can be overwhelming. And so I think that teachers need to be given more opportunities for downtime, for work-life balance and so that way we can recuperate and refresh and come with new ideas.
All right, awesome. All right. So I'm so glad that you're really open and honest with those concerns, and I can see where these things are happening. So you're saying that to have effective teaching and learning, all the stakeholders such as the school, the family, right? The community even needs to play a part.
Exactly.
The students themselves need to play a part in their education.
Exactly.
All right, awesome. All right, and these are some of the issues that from time to time you can come to me with and we can work out. And as a teacher as well, I would say, it can be pressuring. So I would say to you, take time for yourself, take care of yourself, prioritize, take it one day at a time, right? Um, while still keeping your professionalism, still, living up to the expectations of the teacher and so forth. But as time goes by, you can always come to me and we can, share and see how best we can overcome these challenges.
All right. Thank you so much for that open opportunity. It's not all the time that, even though we're encouraged to share with our leaders, it's not all the time that we feel warm and welcomed. And so I appreciate this opportunity to
All right.
ask questions.
Right, because the teacher's health and well-being is also important, right? And definitely I'm open for conversation, and that's why I'm here, and I'm looking forward to working with you, Ms. Gordon. All right, so my other question, after the observation, what time do you think is appropriate for us to meet for the post-conference?
All right. So the post conference, I will be available. I should be available after school hours. So school ends at 3. So I believe 3:30 is a good time to have that conversation.
All right, awesome. Right. So remember, we're just going to reflect on the classroom and see, different ways in which we can help you to grow and help the students to grow. All right. And that time works well for me as well. Thank you, Miss Gordon, for allowing me. And do you have any other question before we end this meeting?
No, I don't. I do not. Thank you.
All right, good. All right. Thank you, Miss Gordon. I'm looking forward to working with you.
You're welcome, Miss Frank.
All right.